Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Today we're going to be talking about graphing linear functions. Okay? Hold on a sec. All right, so if you printed off our notes for today, you can see that there are three ways to graph linear functions. We can graph by solving for y. We can graph by finding the intercepts, meaning the x-intercept and the y-intercept, or we can graph by plotting points. Okay? Now, in our first method where we graph by solving for y, we always want to get our equation into the form y equals mx plus b, which is our slope-intercept form. So what we have to do, just like we've done before with isolating variables, we have to get y on one side by itself. Okay, now in this case, we have the negative 2x, so we can add 2x to this side, add 2x to this side, and now we have y equals 2x minus 1. Now, if you recall from before, once we have y equals 2x minus 1, we know that the negative 1 is our y-intercept. So we go to negative 1. We see right here is our slope. And since this is a whole number 2, remember if we have a whole number, that 2 is actually 2 over 1. Okay, so our slope is a rise 2, a run of 1. Okay, so now we can go back to our y-intercept, go rise 2, run 1, rise 2, run 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, like that. Okay, now once we have these points, then we can take our ruler and graph our equation. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the next one. Now, this is the same idea. We already have y by itself over here, so we have to continue to isolate the y, which means that we need to, since the y is multiplied by 5, we need to divide by 5. We divide this side by 5, which means that we're dividing everything over here by 5, okay? So now we're going to have y equals 4/5 x minus 15 over 5, which is 3. All right, so again, you can see we have our y-intercept here of negative 3. 1, 2, 3. We have our slope of 4 over 5, so we go up 4 over 5. We go up 4 over 5, like that. Okay, and now we're going to line this guy up here. Okay, just like that. All right, there's one more. Now, go ahead and pause the video and see if you can solve for y by yourself, and then play the video and watch. Okay, so on this one, we can subtract 6x. So now we have negative 15y equals negative 6x plus 30. Okay, now in this case we have a negative 15, so we need to divide by negative 15. We divide this side by negative 15. Okay, that's going to get our y positive. I'm a little bit running out of room here, so I'm going to write right up here. Okay, so now we have a positive y equals negative 6 over negative 15, which is just 6 over 15, because negative and negative is positive. This is our x, and then we have plus 2. Okay, whoops, sorry about that. All right, so in this one, we see that our y-intercept is a positive 2. And then let's say our values going this way are by 5s. Okay, so we're going to go up 6 to here and then over 15. So 5, 10, 15. Okay, and now I'm running out of space up here, so I'm going to go 2, 4, 6, 5, 10, 15. Get that there. Okay, so now I have 3 points. And I draw my line. Okay, so when you're solving for y, you just have to make sure that you get your equation into slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. And then you use that information to graph, just as we have before. Okay, now the second way that we can graph linear functions is by finding the intercepts. So let's look down here, and what we're looking at is finding the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Okay, now if we're looking for the x-intercept, then what we can do is we can set y equal to 0, because we know that if our linear function crosses the x-axis, our y value has to be 0. Okay, so in this case we're going to set y equal to 0. So it's going to be 0 minus 3x equals 2. Okay. Now this 0 doesn't do anything to our equation. So basically what we have here is negative 3x equals 2. Okay. So we'll divide by negative 3. And then we have x equals negative 2/3. All right. So our x-intercept equals, oops, sorry about that. Our x-intercept equals negative 2/3. Okay. Now, to find our y-intercept, we do pretty much the same thing, except we're going to set x equal to 0. Okay. So we have y equals negative 3 times 0. Oh, sorry. Y minus. Oh, dear. Okay, I'm going to rewrite that one. Sorry about that. Y minus 3 times 0 equals 2. Okay. Now, 3 times 0 is 0, so we have y equals 2. Okay, so now we have a y-intercept of 2. All right, so that means that our x-intercept is at negative 2/3 0, and our y-intercept is at 0, 2. Okay, so now we just go up to our graph, and we have negative 2/3 0, and then we have 0, 2, like that. Okay, and now with these 2 points, we can graph our linear function. Okay. All right, let's see if I can make this one a little bit neater for you. All right, so x-intercept, we do our x-intercept first. And to find our x-intercept, we set y equal to 0. So we have 4 times 0 equals 7x minus 20. All right, so in this case, this ends up to be 0. Okay, but as we're doing that, let's do this at the same time. We're going to move our 20 across, so now we have 4 times 0 is 0, plus 20. 20 equals 7x. Okay, we divide by 7, and then x equals 27ths, which is not the friendliest number, but that's okay. 27ths. So now our x-intercept is 27ths, 0. All right. Next, we're looking at our y-intercept. Y-intercept, we're going to set x equal to 0. So we're going to have 4y equals 7 times 0 minus 20. Okay, so then 4y, 7 times 0 is 0, so 4y is equal to negative 20. And divide by 4, y equals negative 5. Okay, so then our y-intercept is 0, negative 5. That is a 5. All right, so x is 20/7, which is almost 3. So we'll go almost to 3. And then our y-intercept is 0, negative 5. Okay. We will line this up. And there we are. All right, now there's one more here. Again, go ahead and pause the video and try this one yourself, and then come back. Okay, welcome back. So we're going to find x, and then we're going to find y. Now remember, when we find x, we're going to set y equal to 0. So we have 6x minus 8 times 0 equals 16. Okay, 8 times 0 is 0, so we have 6x equals 16. Divide by 6. X equals another delightful fraction for you. Happy Fraction Friday! 16/6. Okay, so now we have an x value. X is going to be 16/6, 0. All right, next is y. For y, we're going to set x equal to 0, so we're going to have 6 times 0 minus 8y equals 16. All right, 6 times 0 is 0. We have negative 8y equals 16. Divide by negative 8. And then we have y equals negative 2. Okay, so now our y-intercept is 0, negative 2. All right, so our x-intercept is 16/6, which is 1, 2, 4, 2 2/3. So right there. And then y is 0, negative 2. And then we're going to, there we go. Pretty close. Graph that one. Okay. So that is our second way to find to graph a linear function, is by finding the intercepts, both the x-intercept and the y-intercept. All right, last one. Okay. Now, the last way that we can graph our linear function is by plotting points. Okay. Now, when we're plotting our points, we need to create a table. Okay. So if we're creating a table, we're creating a table of x and y values. Now, usually when we're plotting our points and we're creating a table, we want to have at least 3 points. Okay. So if we start off with 3 points, maybe we'll do, let's do 0, 1, and 2 for this one, okay? All right, so if we're identifying x as 0, 1, and 2, then we're going to plug that x value into the equation, okay? So in this case, we're going to use 0 first. So I'm going to write this down here. So we'll have 2y equals negative 6 times 0 minus 8. Okay, so the first x value that we have is 0. So we're plugging 0 in for the x. All right, so now we have 2y equals negative 8. Divide by 2. And y equals 4. Okay, so now in our table here, x was 0, y was 4. Okay, so now let's do the same thing with 1. Okay, so we're going to go back here. I'm going to say 2y equals negative 6 times 1 minus 8. Okay, negative 6 times 1, negative 6 minus 8 is negative 14. So now we have 2y equals negative 14. Divide by 2. And then y equals negative 7. Okay, so now we add that value up here, negative 7. All right, last one. We have a positive 2. Okay. Oh, I fear I'm going to run out of space. Okay, it's okay. We'll figure this out. So we have 2y equals negative 6 times 2 minus 8. So negative 6 times 2 is negative 12. Minus 8 is negative 20. So 2y equals negative 20. We'll divide by 2 to isolate our y and get y equals negative 10. Okay. So this is negative 10. All right. So now we have 3 points. We have 0, 4. We have 1, negative 7. We have 2, negative 10. And really what you're looking at is 3 ordered pairs. 0, 4, 1, negative 7, and 2, negative 10. Okay, and you know how to graph ordered pairs. So we have 0, 4, 1, negative 7, 2, negative 10. Oops. I'm sorry. I noticed I made a little mistake here. This was a negative 4. So, sorry about that. So when we divided our 2, that wasn't a negative 2. So our y value was negative 4. Whoopsies. Okay, so sorry, that point was incorrect. It was a negative 4. 0, negative 4. Okay, that's better. That other point just didn't really make sense with our graph. So now we have 0, negative 4, 1, negative 7, and 2, negative 10. Okay, and once we have these 3 points, we can go ahead and connect them here. And we have our graph. All right. Next one. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to create a table with x and y values. And again, we just need at least 3 values, okay? So I think that it's okay again to go 0, 1, 2. And our equation this time, y plus 2x equals 4, okay? So x is 0, so y plus 2 times 0 equals 4. And we solve for y. 2 times 0 is 0, so y equals 4. So when x is 0, y is 4. Positive 4 this time. Next one. X is equal to 1. So we have y plus 2 times 1 equals 4. Like this. This equation here. 2 times 1 is 2. So then y plus 2 equals 4. We're isolating the y, so we're going to subtract 2 across. And then y equals 2. Okay. So when x is 1, y is 2. Okay, last one. Y plus 2 times 2 equals 4. Okay, 2 times 2 is 4, so y plus 4 equals 4. Now we need to isolate the y. Whoops. So we subtract 4 to the other side, and we end up with y equals 0. All right. Okay, so now we have our three ordered pairs. We have 0, 4, we have 1, 2, and we have 2, 0. Okay, so now we can graph these. 0, 4, 1, 2, 2, 0. Okay, I'll line this up here. Oops, the line got a little bit wiggly there at the end. Okay. All right, this is fun. Okay, there's just one left, and again, before you watch how to do it, if you could pause the video and give it a try by yourself. So I'll see you in a second. Okay, welcome back. All right, last one, X and Y. So we're making our table with X and Y. I'm just going to stick with 0, 1, and 2 because I'm kind of partial to them today. So first one, we have X value is 0. So I'm going to go down here. My equation is -4 equals X plus 2Y. So -4 equals, my X value is going to be 0 plus 2Y. Okay, so this is what I have. 0 plus 2Y, obviously that's just 2Y. So -4 equals 2Y. Okay, we divide by 2. And then Y equals -2. Okay, so when X is 0, Y is -2. All right, next one, we have X value is going to be 1. So -4 equals 1 plus 2Y, like this. Okay, we're going to subtract our 1 across so that we can isolate our 2Y. Now we have -5 equals 2Y. Okay, to get the Y by itself, oh dear. Sorry, my paper's wiggling around. We divide by 2, and then Y equals -5 halves. Sorry about that. Okay, so now when X is 1, Y is -5 halves. Okay, or -2.5. All right, last one. X is going to be 2, so we're going to have -4 equals 2 plus 2Y. Okay, so we're going to subtract 2. Now we have -6 equals 2Y. Okay, divide by 2. Y equals -3. Okay, so we're going to have, when X is 2, Y is -3. All right, so again, we have our three ordered pairs. 0, -2, 1, -5 halves, 2, -3. Oops. And we're going to graph this. So 0, -2, 1, -5 halves, which is the same as 2.5, and then 2, -3. Wow, these ones are really close together. Okay, like this, line that guy up. Okay. Okay, so that is how we graph a linear equation by plotting points. So, to review, there are three ways to graph linear functions. You can either solve for y, where you get the equation into y equals mx plus b form, and then graph it using the intercept and the slope. You can find the x and y intercepts by setting either y to 0 or setting x to 0. And finally, you can graph by plotting points, making a table of x values, plugging that x value into the equation, and finding the y value. Once you have those ordered pairs, plot them and draw your line. Okay. Well, I hope that you had a great time graphing linear functions today. Have a fabulous weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. Okay? Bye.